Welcome back, y'all, and today let's talk about goldfish. Goldfish are unfortunately one of the most mistreated, abused fish found in the hobby. Often these fish are won at carnivals, end up in bowls, and typically end up living a very, very short lifespan compared to what their actual lifespan can be. When properly cared for, goldfish can live as long as 25 plus years. So these are not actually fish that should have a very short lifespan. Part of the problem is that goldfish actually get so large, and the ones that we typically see in stores are teeny tiny little babies. But depending on what species of goldfish that you're keeping, they can get over 12 inches in size. So these are not tiny little fish that should be kept in small aquariums or bowls. Now, the recommended tank size for your average species of goldfish is a minimum of 20 gallons for your first goldfish, and then an additional 10 gallons for each additional goldfish that you put in the tank. So if you are keeping 3 goldfish, your minimum tank requirement would be at least a 40-gallon tank. The other thing when it comes to goldfish is when you are looking at tank size, you really want to have a larger footprint. Goldfish do require quite a bit of oxygen, so the more surface area that you have in your tank, the more oxygen that the water will have. So again, with the 40-gallon example, you would want to get a 40-gallon long rather than a 40-gallon tall. Now, the recommended pH for goldfish is going to be between 7 and 7.8. And the ideal temperature range is going to be between 66 and 74 degrees, although many goldfish can tolerate much cooler waters. Now, while goldfish are technically omnivores, they're really primarily herbivores. So you do want to feed them a very high quality pellet or crumble food, along with things like blanched vegetables, spirulina, algae flakes, and they can be fed things such as brine shrimp, but I would only recommend doing that as a treat. Since goldfish are primarily herbivores, you really don't want to overdo the high, rich protein foods with them. It is also recommended and encouraged that dry foods be soaked prior to feeding to avoid digestive problems, as goldfish commonly can have a lot of digestive problems. Now, when decorating your tank, you really want to make sure that you avoid any sharp items or substrate, especially with the fancy goldfish. Some of these species have extremely long fins that can easily be torn, and others have very large eyes that can easily be damaged. So you really want to do your best to avoid any type of sharp objects in your tank. Now, another thing that you want to avoid is when you're choosing tank mates, you don't want to put one of the slower moving fancy goldfish in with the more streamlined fish, as the slower moving fancy goldfish will not be able to get their food as quickly and could have problems getting their food at all, or could also get picked on by the faster moving fish. Another thing that you want to keep in mind is that goldfish create a lot of waste. Now, being how toxic ammonia is to fish, goldfish tanks can often accumulate ammonia in the tanks very, very quickly. So as with all tank setups, it's always recommended that you cycle your tank first so that we get that good bacteria in the tank that can help deal with the ammonia and nitrites in there that are so toxic to our fish, along with purchasing a good water testing kit so that you can test your water frequently, especially when it comes to goldfish, because like I said, they can foul up a tank so very quickly. I know a lot of goldfish keepers that have to do as large as 50% water changes, sometimes more frequently than even once a week. So these are a type of fish that you really need to be diligent about, making sure that you're checking your water parameters on a regular basis and doing your routine maintenance. And a lot of times goldfish do require a lot more maintenance than some of your other smaller schooling fish. So anyway, guys, that's all I really have for y'all today. As always, thank you so much for watching. I love you guys, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!